Bee Movie was an underrated comedy animated movie which was about a honey bee who tried to sue the human race for exploiting bees after learning that they take their product by force and sell it for profit. It was produced by DreamWorks Animation and was roughly 90 minutes long, and today we shall remember the characters who featured in the film, both humans and bees, and other minor deutragonists who featured in the movie. Then we shall get to see everyone behind the voices, who they are and how old they are today. We begin with the main bee known as Barry Benson. He was the main focus in this film, and was the bee responsible for taking humans to court for stealing and selling their honey. He was the son of Janet and Martin Benson, who we shall look at later, and was a small creature who wanted to explore the beautiful and vast world of humans. And as a bee, he wanted to join the pollen jock, which means that he wanted to help in pollinating the flowers. He was just a curious bee who was also very loving, and did not care what other people thought of him. He was voiced by Jerry Seinfeld, who is an American stand-up comedian and an actor, and is also nowadays a very well-known producer. His net worth as of today is roughly $1.1 billion, and is also blessed with 4 children. Kenneth, mostly recognized as Ken, was the ex-boyfriend of a lady known as Vanessa Bloom, who we shall also look at later. His arch-enemy was Barry, who always had a crush on his ex-girlfriend. He was a short-tempered and energetic fella, and we also learnt that he hated the bees because he had bee allergies. The only things he enjoyed were playing tennis, drinking yogurt, and not getting disturbed during his daily activities. A funny dude voiced by the famous Patrick Warburton, who is a legend in Family Guy for his role as Joe, and also his role in Emperor's New Groove. He has also acted in a few shows like Rules of Engagement, where he played Jeff, and also played David Puddy on Seinfeld. Now, Vanessa Bloom was the ex-girlfriend of Ken and the love interest of Barry. Just by looking at her picture, you can clearly see that she was very beautiful. And unlike other beautiful ladies out here, Vanessa was a kind soul who loved everyone, including the bees, and was a florist who sold flowers at her shop. The only way to describe her was a gentle, selfless, good-natured, caring, sympathetic, hospitable, smart, patient, and an understanding lady. Throughout the show, she was seen supporting the bees by suing the human race, and also helping Barry bring more pollen to the bees to save the balance of nature. A sweet lady voiced by Renee Zellweger, who is an American actress and voice actress that was the highest paid actress when this film was airing, and has won multiple awards like 2 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globe Awards, and even 2 British Academy Film Awards during her time. Adam Flayman was a nerdy and clumsy bee who also had good intentions throughout the film. He was Barry's best friend, and also his voice of reason. He didn't like it when Barry spoke to Vanessa because he saw human beings as a threat. And even though he was clumsy, he was also seen to be adventurous and daring, and also loved to guide Barry through his journey in the human world. He was also very accountable for his deeds and that of Barry's, and was always seen advising Barry on what to do and what not to do. A good bee voiced by the iconic Matthew Broderick, who is an American actor, and you'd probably remember his voice in The Lion King as the adult Simba. He is now married to Sarah Jessica Parker, and is blessed with a son named James. Mooseblood was a mosquito that was seen acting as a lawyer in the court case of humans and bees. He was one of Barry's friends who lived in the typical hostile mosquito environment in Alaska, but would later leave his hometown for greener pastures. On his way, that's where he met Barry, and would go on to be a lawyer to fight for the bees. He was a good blood-sucking creature, and was voiced by Chris Rock, a man mostly famous for narrating Everybody Hates Chris, and featuring in other animations like the famous Madagascar, in which he voiced the zebra. There was a man by the name Ray Liotta, who was the founder of the Ray Liotta Private Select Honey, which was harvested and bottled in Scotland. He was a handsome man who always saw Barry's court situation as a threat to his honey business. He was just a minor antagonist in the film, and was voiced by a man with the same name, Ray Liotta, who was an American actor that was famous in the 80s and 90s, but he sadly passed away on May 26, 2022 at the age of 67, and his cause of demise was as a result of a heart failure. The main antagonist was Layton Montgomery, who was an overweight lawyer that hated bees. He was hired by the human CEOs of the honey companies to represent them in the court proceedings. He never liked the fact that the bees could talk and always called them abominations. He was a greedy lawyer who wanted his race to forcefully take honey from bees, and was also a man full of knowledge of the law, and that was why it was not very easy for the bees to win the case. He was a man voiced by the good John Goodman, who is an American actor and voice actor, and we also discussed him in Emperor's New Groove where he voiced the chief. The bee version of Larry King was also a TV show host who was seen interviewing Barry on the lawsuit on human race concerning honey. He always asked challenging questions which were hard to answer, and was not seen after that particular scene. His appearance was derived from the real-life Larry King, who was an American television and radio host-presenter, and is known for stretching his career for over 50 years before he passed. This legend left us on January 23, 2021 at the age of 87, after suffering from a sepsis infection. Other characters who appeared once in a while were people and bees like Trudy, who was a female tour guide in the bee kingdom where all the bees lived. She also made some crossover appearances in Toy Story and Barbie. Lou was the decorated general that commanded the pollen jocks, and was a fella with an authoritative attitude just like an army commander. He was seen to support the lawsuit in every way he knew how. Janet was the mother of Barry Benson and the wife to Martin Benson, and was just a supporting character in the film and a mother figure. Hector was a supermarket worker who wanted to squish Barry just because he was a small bee, and unlike other people, he was not surprised that Barry could talk. There was this musician in the film called Sting, and was actually voiced by the same musician known as Sting. Buzzwell was the dean of New Hive City School, which was a mixture of elementary school, high school, and college. We saw him performing the graduation ceremony where Barry and Adam attended. Andy was a good friend of Ken, and both were seen together playing tennis and drinking yogurt. His role was not as huge as that of Ken's, and was just a supporting character.